Thank you, Ajay for your kind word, and thank you, Maiti NEGD, for giving me this opportunity. So thank you very much, and thank you, Kerala, for giving me very warm welcome. So it's God-owned country, right? So I'm truly feeling that. So thank you all, Kerala. So far what we learned, right? We learned that what is the legal aspect, and we learned just now the consent management, before the data mapping, ROPA. We also learned, what else we learned? You talk about
notices and data.
Yeah, notices. So I think 90% or 80% aspect of DPDP, I think you already learned during the day. I'll be deviating from the core aspect of DPDP to taking you to the security or cyber security world. Before I start, I just want to understand how many of you are the technical person, so that I can maneuver my talking accordingly. How many? Sorry, I know that. Anyone is from cyber security field? Cyber security? Okay, then it's a challenge for me to talk technical things in possible non-technical way. So let me try it out, but I'm here. Just raise your hand, ask me to pause, ask question. No need to have mic, just raise your hand. I think I can hear you if you speak a little bit loudly. Fair enough? So this is another section in DPDP Act called technical and organization measures, right? In short term. So for the sake of creating PPT, I have created something at the midnight. So I'm not big fan of PPT, having worked with a few top organizations where PPT is not seen as a good way to communicate. So don't go by the word. Let's try to have the interaction and learn from each other. So we'll be talking about a little bit technical thing, but as I promised, right, and I'll talk in that way so that you can understand. So I'll come to the slides, etc. Go to the first slide, initial slide only. Let me say something so that these people can read and understand the slides. Right? So you must have read number of news articles, right? That so and so company got data breached. Any recent news? Can anyone share? Data breach happened?
Qantas Airline.
Yes, I'm talking about in India, right? And this is media news, so I can take their name. It's called Angel. How many are stock investor? Angel app. I'm sure everyone, most of you must have used, right? So I don't know. I'll not go to the specific what happened, because this is as a public user. That's why I'm referring their name. There's no intention to malign their name, right? So if a data breach happens, right? What are the impact of data breach, right? It's a trust. It's a directly loss to your business. Directly you are losing the trust to your customer. So DPDP is still not effective, right? As everyone has said, right? It is yet to be notified. And once DPDP will be notified, then there will be, as you could see, go to the next slide, there would be kind of 200 plus or 250 crore kind of penalty. So this is one thing, but you will have the business loss of maybe 10x, maybe 20x, maybe 50x of this penalty as well, depending on your size of business. This is such a devastating thing. Data breach, any data breach, especially on the customer data or PII data breach, where DPDP comes into effect. So PII or customer data is more critical after this DPDP comes into the regulation, right? So as you can see that the data fiduciary has to put the reasonable security safeguard. So reasonable security safeguard. When we talk about what the reasonable, what are the securities of safeguard? Can anyone tell me what are the one or two security safeguard? Anyone guys? Anyone? What could be the one security safeguard? Yeah?
DLP.
DLP.
That's what I
Yeah,
heard.
yeah, DLP. What else?
Any kind of masking, encryption.
Yeah, these are the safeguard, right? And I will talk in detail. I'll try to cover almost every safeguard mentioned under DPDP and also as per the best practices. So you have to reasonably or you have to demonstrate to the data protection board that you have put the reasonably secure safeguard and to protect the PII data or customer data. Right? This you have to demonstrate in case of data breach. If you are not able to demonstrate that you have put the reasonably control around your customer database, it is that you are liable to have penalty more than 250 crore, 250 crore. It may extend or means up to 250 crore. So this is the regulation. This is very scary, right? 250 crore is not small amount. So how you will demonstrate that you have put this technical measure in place? Right? So there are two parts, right? Tom Scott talk about the technical measure and also the organizational measure. The technical measure, as a few of you already talked about, the first is called encryption. Anyone encryption? What is encryption? When you put the password, then it shows as dot. That is the encryption, right?
No, that's masking.
That is the encryption.
That is masking. That is masking.
Yeah, that is masking. Okay, since I don't want to get it technical, but yeah, it's a layman word. It's kind of masking and right. So that you are not able to see and read. When this password is getting stored, right, it is also get hashed in database, right? So when you put the same password, they match the hash and they give you the access, right? So encryption and hashing, masking, all those are the technology safeguard, right? Comes under the TOM. So there could be anonymization, there could be pseudonymization, encryption. These all are the technical control. I'll try to talk about one or two, maybe encryption, masking you all understood. Encryption is nothing but DPDP expect us to do two kind of encryption. One is called data at rest. Data at rest means what? Data at rest means when your customer data or PII data is sitting in the database, right? So it is stored in the database. Okay, that is not moving, that is not in transit. Then, what is the risk if you don't do the encryption on the data at rest? Anyone can log in, see all the data, maybe can take those data, it's called data breach, and it will be readable, and then there will be the bigger loss for you. Correct, no? I'm trying to make it simple because I am a pure techie guy. It is challenge for me, but let me put it in their very simplistic way. And then it's called data in transit. Any tool to encrypt data in transit? Any tool? Very popular tool.
It's the same.
SSL, HTTPS, right? TSL. So these all are the TLS. These all are called data in transit. Means you are storing this data or you are collecting data from your website or from your mobile, are trying to store in your database, and this particular data is moving from here to here. Means this has to be in encrypted channel. Means no one can sneeze into or no one can peep into, no one can, it's called man in the middle attack. Means no one can see your data from your capturing the data till the storage of the data. This is called data in storage, data in transit. So this is the encryption, right? What it will give what kind of benefit you will get? So in data in transit, if you are encrypting data in transit, it means that no one can see your data while this data is getting stored in your static database. And once it is stored in database, and you are putting the encryption, it's called static encryption or whatever name you can give. If you are storing, is encrypting in your static database, it means even someone try to log into your database, it will be of no use for those hackers because it is encrypted. To understand those data, to make use of those stolen data, that hacker has to have the encryption key. You understand that, right? You are putting a control or you are putting a layer of security so that your data is still of no use. So, see, in security it is called that today or tomorrow everyone will be hacked, right? It's personal or organization level. It's a matter of when, right? So it's better to assume that you will be breached and then you apply all those controls. If I am breached, what will be my loss? What could be the additional control? And that's where this encryption or data at rest encryption helps us, right? The second terminology is called access control. What is the access control? So I'm sure that anyone from health sector, government sector, or banking, or yeah. So and in this user access control, right? So if you are storing data, PII data in any of the storage box, right? There has to be authorized user to access and read those data. It should not be open for everyone. Like it's a crown jewels, right? So when you put your ornament at your home, so password is known to either wife or husband or both, right? Most of the time, those code is not disclosed to your relatives or your children, right? So this is how it works. That whoever is authorized to access and read those data, it should be only accessible to them. It's also called role-based access control, right? It's RBAC. So if you have the role to access those data, then you should be having the authorization to access those data with the decryption key and all those. Again, I'm not going into the detail on the technology side. So I'm trying to talk as much as very 80,000 feet high. The access control is other. The third is called, I think, data masking. Someone talked about data masking, right? Data masking is simply, if you put in this way, right? So you have the vendor, right? You have the third-party dependency, right? You keep sharing all those data with them, right? For POC or proof of concept or for UAT purpose as well. Right? So how you can share those data so that other recipient cannot read your PII data? How you can mask name, maybe mobile number, maybe date of birth, so that it should not be, readable for them. So these are the technical controls, and there are many other which I'll cover during the slideshow. The second is called organization measure. What could be the organizational measure? Anyone?
CCTVs?
CCTV, organizational measure, CCTV, no, it cannot be, it's all about the technical control or detective control.
Staff awareness.
Yeah, awareness, thank you. Awareness is one of the most impactful governance measure or organizational measure. Also it's called, the hiring a DPO itself is an organizational measure. Right? DPO is kind of subject matter expert on the law side and the technical side, on the process side, everywhere, right? And that's why if any organization is hiring DPO, it shows that particular organization is concerned about protecting the PII data. They are concerned about the law and regulation. Right? It demonstrates. And that's why, right, to safeguard from 250 crore, and as an organizational measure, if you say that we have the dedicated DPO, we have put some technical control, we have the awareness session organized, last 12 months, 3 or 4, and you are able to demonstrate, and definitely you want to be 250 crore. It would be depending on DPB or data protection board discretion, but it could be much lesser than this, right? So this is how you should be demonstrating. What would be other organization measure? One is called hiding a DPO, second is awareness. What could be other?
Having data protection policy.
Data protection policy, yeah, policy and framework and process, right? It's important. So policy has to be approved by board, and when you say that was this privacy is also a board subject, and we have put up to our board. Board has approved this policy. They have granted some budget. These are the program running, right? These are the things that you can demonstrate that yes, you are really a privacy concerned organization. So this is what Tom talk about, technical and organizational measure. I'm just trying to give you the very 80,000 glimpse at what we are going to cover. Now, being a government, I understand that a lot of your government organization, right, and you have I think most of the data as compared to any other organization. So, since you have come here, spent some time, I would like to give you the one tool. It's called differentiator privacy. We'll talk in detail that how you can minimize your compliance burden, how you can minimize your penalty. That is something, and within NPCI we are trying to implement, right? So, what does it mean? This differential privacy means what? Means that you have the privacy data, you are not compromising on privacy, but still you can process those data and can get the meaningful insight without compromising, without revealing any individual identity. So all the organizations process the data, right? They do the profiling, they get the insight. And for example, I'll tell you, right? We have the census record, Kerala government or Indian government do have, right? How they will process those data, how many are kind of 80 plus or income is 100,000 plus, whatever, right? The data, how they process data for their policy formulation, right? So if you process any data, how you get those insights without compromising the individual privacy. And this is new concept, and happy to inform you that all the new tech company like Google, like Apple, like even US Census Code, they are using this effectively, and we'll talk about more. And this is something, anyone is interested to know more, they can reach out to me, and because we are trying to do the POC now currently, and I'm sure that we'll be implementing at NPCI very soon. So this is the very high level. I would like to cover the technical measures, the organizational measure. I'll also show you one sample, Tom, right? So that you will understand what does it mean, Tom, how it is written, what are the other control to be mentioned, right? BCP could be another control for organizational measure. There are many, right? I'll talk about that. And then after that, I'll show you the one sample, Tom. Then we'll get into the differential privacy. So as you can see that, right, again, I am not going to read it, it's all self-explanatory. So Tom, how it helps, right? It creates the trust to the customer. Right? If you have implemented, like if you declare that we are ISO 27001 certified company, what does it mean? Then your customer sees very differently. Okay, it means that they have implemented the technical measure. If you are into credit card dealing, then if you are PCI DSS, it means that you have put the reasonable control, and there will be the increased amount of trust towards your company. It builds the trust. Of course, it protects the data. This is all the security measures, right? So it protects the data. And compliance, as I explained that how you can demonstrate the compliance, so that you put up the reasonable control. Go to the next slide. I can move this. So we talk about in detail. So what are the technical measures? You can again go through this and organization measure. Together, you have to implement all those controls. So these are the key controls under DPDP. Again, these, I'm not sure if I go into detail. Encryption, I think, going through that. Tokenization, I'll just again very briefly cover. Tokenization is again new concept. This is another technical controls. You can see that to protect the data. So this is the way to go in future as well. That if you are transacting our Visa or an online transaction, they will show up a window called "Do you want to tokenize your Visa card, right, or Mastercard?" Then this is a tokenization, means you are not transmitting the actual value or credit card number or CVV and all those. So tokenized data is getting stored. So it is a way to go. I think most of the forward-looking company have already implemented or will be implementing this. Access control, we do talk about that. Regular security audits. So this is the another security measures or technical measures, right? So putting control is effective or not, it is question mark always, right? So people do buy firewall, people do buy state of the art security tools, but whether it is working, whether it is meeting your purpose, those controls are effective, in line with your policy, in line with the compliance requirement. You have to perform the regular audit to see that what are your weaknesses in the current security posture, and accordingly you take the steps to mitigate those findings. Right? So this is again fundamental, and that's why DPDP is also asking that at least once in a year, right, we should be having the comprehensive privacy audit done by the certain mobile vendor. Data minimization. I think Sir and other people have talked about the data minimization. Do not ask or store more than what you need. So this is data minimization. So we recently calculated called ROPA. I think ROPA now everyone has understood what is ROPA. Right? And we found that we are storing and collecting many additional PI field which we don't need. And this is the very surprising finding we'll get once you perform the ROPA. Right? And everyone is surprised that why we are asking this data we never used last 5 years. And then we are taking the corrective action and we are trying to reach to the data minimization expectation. Of course, intrusion detection and prevention system, again, this is very technical. I don't want to get into this. IDS in IPS is all about that. You are not allowing unwanted traffic to reach into your perimeter. Right? So you have to put those controls. Secure development practice, right? So if you are developing a, let's suppose, mobile application or your website or any application, right? So ensure that it is privacy by design, security by design. Right, and you have followed all those technical measures as defined in called secure SDLC, like do not hard code any PI data. There are many things. So please follow the secure SDLC process. Yes, of course, the data breach. We have given the example of maintaining data integrity. So it ensures that there are three concepts in security. I'm sure many of you are aware, right? It's called confidentiality. Confidentiality means, anyone? What is confidentiality? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Right? These are the three concepts in security. So confidentiality of data means it is not to be seen by an intended person or party, right? Integrity means integrity is intact, means it is not manipulated data, so no one has manipulated or altered the data, and availability means it is available as and when you need. Right? If you are able to ensure all three, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, means your security is a reasonably good manipulation. building trust, we already talked about. So, technical organization measure. So, governance is all about the organizational measure. So, we already talked about what could be the organizational measure under governance. Data privacy governance structure and team, DPO hiring and creating a team, giving the privacy measure separately, separate from security measure, privacy policies, infosec policy, data privacy breach and grievances, third party content. This is very important where we have initiated the other things, right? So you deal with a number of vendors, as I said, right? And I think most of you could be the data fiduciary, means you are the you are collecting, you are creating the means and purpose to collect those PI data, right? And you must be sharing those data with your processor or to your vendor. So have this TOM in place, or it's called data processing agreement. So whenever you share any data, and there has to be a data processing agreement where you ensure that whatever reasonable security and organization measure of technology, technical and organization measure of TOM you have implemented, those TOM also can be applies, your third party applies to implement those security measures as well. This is important. So that you will be, because you are the accountable to protect those collected PI data. Security, we talk about the encryption, access control, reasonable security measures, logs, and audit trails. Awareness training. So awareness training again, just to give you what we are trying to do, right? We have created a dedicated. Earlier there was a security infosec model, learning model, video in our learning platform. Recently we created a separate privacy model where we talk about the different concept of DPDP and the different principle of DPDP, and we have launched, and it has been made mandatory to everyone to pass. To learn from that video and also appear to the exam, and it should be done twice in a year. So this is mandatory. It's very important that each and every employee in your team or in your department should understand the basic concept of privacy, so that everyone together can protect it. So this is the high level metrics. It depends organization to organization, but this is what the industry accepted as of now. What would be the role of the DPO or privacy office? What would be the role of legal team? Because this is still at times in organization, DPO is part of the legal team. At times, legal team is part of DPO team. So if your privacy and legal team are two different teams, then definitely this should be the ideal way to bifurcate your responsibility, accountability, and consulting, and also informative. So it's called RACI matrix. So again, the privacy office and security team at times both report to one CISO, but it is now time to have the DPO and CISO role, two different roles. Business function owner, of course, product development team. So this is very high level RACI matrix. Let me know if anyone would like to know more. I'm pausing here because it's important to understand that once you go back to your office, then how you will implement this, right? So legal team say that this is not my this is privacy team should do, right? So and privacy team this is legal team work. So, for example, like PII security, whose responsibility is this? PII security, anyone? Sorry?
CISO.
And who is accountable?
Business.
Are you sure, business?
Management is accountable.
Of course, you will use the CISO function to put all the technical controls. Accountability will be with the DPO or both. So this is the sample TOM. If you could click this. So, any questions so far on the technical and organizational measures? So, anyone can tell me what is pseudonomization? This is another technical measure. Yeah. So this is kind of my own term. I have deleted all those confidential and proprietary information. I just try to give the concept and the high level, look and feel of the term, how it looks like. So you can see that these are the measures. Any forward looking and the DPDP compliance obligated company to implement. So strong user authentication. Again, I am not going to very technical here. Number of things comes here, right? Multi-factor authentication. So hope everyone understand now, right? What is multi-factor authentication? What you have, what you know, who you are, right? Three. Out of these three, if two are implementing, means this is called MFA. Since we are very sensitive company, lot of PII, lot of transaction payment data we have. Not only MFA, we have implemented PAM, is a privilege access management tool, and a number of tools we have implemented. We also follow the list privilege, need to know basis kind of principle, right? So if you don't need privilege or additional privilege, then we will not authorize to give you. Let's suppose I need only to access and read this data, then I will not have the access to write on those data. Right? So this is called list privilege principle. And need to know basis means if I am not authorized to read the legal contract, for example, then I will not have access on the legal database. Right? So this is called need to know basis. List privilege. These all are audited as a part of the identity and access management control. Access logs. So in the interest of time, I will not go into each and everything. Segregation of duty is called SOD. SOD is again important, so that there has to be the maker and checker to different team, to different person. Everywhere we have implemented the segregation of duty, so that one person cannot damage. There has to be some collision between two teams, between two persons, then only there will be some kind of damage. Data security, let's go down. Data encryption, as I talked about, data backup and recovery, it is very critical because you every time CISO or DPO should assume that there could be breach today or tomorrow, and how quickly you can recover from that breach, right? So what are the backup you have? What is the RPO? This is all called recovery time or recovery point objective, right? How quickly you can recover those data, where you are keeping those data, those backup is encrypted or not. So many controls are there. Data restoration and testing, right? You must restore your data and test whether the backup what you have taken don't be in the kind of false paradise. You can taking backup. There have been instances of in my personal life as well. When you try to restore from backup, then that backup get failed, right? So please do test this after restoring this data from the backup file. Data purging, again, data leakage, DLP, someone has talked about. Data classification is another important. I'm not able to send my PPT to him since morning. I was struggling because I classified as a confidential data. So once I classify my PPT as a confidential, right, means it's very difficult for me to send to outside the MPCI domain, and it is getting blocked by my DLP. So you must classify your data that, and by default, wherever you are storing the PI data, it has to be the confidential, right? And if you are classifying as a confidential, then you should be having the additional control like encryption, access control, etc. System security, again, regular patch management is important. VS, kind of CT, firewall. So since this gathering is not technical much, so I will skip it. This is very important. I think you will have the last session from Sayugata on the privacy and security by design. So what we did, and I can give you some tips here. So this by design means it's also called shift left, right? So in the design phase only you put up your control, list of control to the developer or to the product team. These are the privacy by design or security by design requirement on DPO phase. And this has to be incorporated before even you start coding that particular application or module. It's very important. We created the checklist and we do discuss on the weekly basis as part of the architecture, weekly discussion. VAPT we talk about, we do the source code review, so many things. Right? So I'll skip, this all secure connectivity is another important thing. Right? So how you are connecting with your third party, how your employees connecting from their home, right? It is very critical. It's called zero-based access, right? Zero trust access, ZTNA. Of course, network segmentation. So you have to create the segmentation within your network, right? This is your crown jewel, this is your perimeter, this is your number of zones, this is your PCI data and critical data, many things. So should be doing the segmentation, and this segmentation should have the some kind of friction either through firewall from one segment to this is called east-west traffic. How you monitor the east-west traffic or north-south traffic. I think go down. Yeah, organization measures, it's called GRC as well, governance, risk and compliance. So as you call regular risk assessment or audit to be conducted. Risk register, that is I will speak right now. Privacy impact assessment, I think previous speaker has already talked about how to conduct the PIA. Business continuity already talked about third party and subcontractor management. So what is your TPR policy, how you are managing your vendor, etc. Good. I think we covered very high level on the Tom side. I'll pause here before I get into the other topic called differential privacy, which should be interesting if you understand a little bit technology. Or you can talk to your DPO by going back to your office and Google it about this and see that if differential privacy has a huge case for your department. I'm sure for government, I have presented to the large government organization as well, and we are in touch with them as well. So I think it will be very useful that how you can use this new age concept without compromising the privacy of your data. Differential privacy is protecting the sensitive data in database by adding controlled random noise. So a little bit technical in this. Let me try to simplify this, right? So you have the, let's suppose, database of 50 participants, right? Where you put up your name, your email ID, your mobile number, right? And your company name, right? And we have those database with me. And if I want to get insight from this database, and then I can understand that, okay, name is, let's suppose, Miss Fatima, and mobile number is this, and location is, let's suppose, Chennai, right? So you can understand that, okay, Chennai, this company, then this could be the Fatima only, right? So you can disclose the identity by going through the database as well at times based on the inferences or the insight coming out from the database. So to avoid this privacy compromise, right, so we put the random noise. Again, it is difficult for me to make you understand, but random noise is nothing but adding some noise within the database, right, so that once you get the insight or inferences or some kind of MIS, it will be difficult for anyone to identify that, okay, this is Fatima only, right? So So there could be one noise added, okay, Fatima 1, then Fatima 2, or Fatima, some additional surname or some additional mobile number, some additional location, so that the output coming from this database will give that, okay, there are two guys coming from Chennai, but not sure whether it is Fatima or not. Hope you are getting me right. So adding the noise, you are getting the output whatever you want, especially in the large data set, right? So, for example, if government has the survey data or census data, right? So government can get the insight, okay, from this particular tahsil or from this particular district, 20% are the literate or the graduate, right? So this information government can get. Government can't give out of these 20, 20 are living in particular location and these 20 are graduate, means they also mention their age, then they can assume that these 20% are the exact person who are participating in that survey, right? So that randomness, that noise, additional noise is all about the differences, privacy. So I'll run past bit quickly because this is a little bit technical, but I'm just giving you food for thought. Just go and Google, listen a YouTube podcast about the difference of privacy, understand and create a use case plan and can discuss within your management team. And I'm sure that it's quite useful. So it protects the individual, which is the USP of this, and you get the insight anyway. How it works, right? So again, I will not go into the kind of very technical thing. So it, as I said, that it uses the randomness or it adds the called neighbor. So some additional data related to that actual data and create the output. It also talks about the privacy project. So again, these all are the technical things. I'll run past this quickly. Other use cases, as you can see, that U.S. Census Board is been using very effectively. Apple has been using very effectively, and that's why because of this, Apple creates the USP, right? And they call that privacy matters, right? So they do have all the data, but without disclosing the individual privacy. And especially so, we are deep tech company and we have built a lot of AI model, right? So on the fraud side, on the number of AI model, our own built AI model we are running. And we need tons of data to train those AI models. And we are using this kind of synthetic data in this differentiate privacy. So maybe large bank also can adopt this. Talk about that. Security, I think we covered everything in this small video. The personal data inventory and classification is important. So first you discover all the BI database, identify, classify, you secure with the encryption and all those. You put the access control, then you take the backup, keeping the crisis in your mind. You have to have the breach detection mechanism and monitoring in place, and of course the third-party security measures to be applied. That's all from my side. Thank you very much. If you have any questions.